Welcome back to the 2-Minute Warning. Today, I'm giving my way too early prediction for the Offensive Rookie of the Year odds in 2021. But before getting to that topic, question for those of you viewing, I want to hear from you guys. Who do you think will be the biggest bust amongst quarterbacks in this year's draft class between Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Mac Jones, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, whoever it may be? Comment down below. I want to hear from you guys. But getting into this topic and going to my way too early prediction, of course, the odds are going to favor Trevor Lawrence, but there's some other talent around there. Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, Trey Lance, Mac Jones, and there's no matter what you think in the draft class, no matter how many scouts rank this guy as a top guy, no matter how many analysts rank this guy as a top guy, there's always a diamond in the rough that really just pops out and, steals the show and kind of surprises us all. Justin Jefferson last year, he was a, highly graded wide receiver, but if he was a number one receiver, Henry Ruggs, CeeDee Lamb, Jerry Jeudy wouldn't have been taken over him, and Justin Jefferson really was super close to winning Rookie of the Year. Like I said, there's just always a surprise guy that isn't going to be in the obvious names that's going to be in the topic next year. Chase Claypool was a big wide receiver that came out. Went Offensive Rookie of the Year by any means, but still, there's always hidden gems that we're going to eventually hear about later on, and we won't be able to predict right now. Alvin Kamara, a running back that was taken in the later rounds a few years ago, and the Saints, he won Offensive Rookie of the Year. No one thought that was going to happen. Like I said, no matter what I think the odd favor is right now, there's going to be a surprise guy that's going to be in contention that we're just not thinking of. But of course, going through the obvious ones, the guy that I think is most bound for success, that is, if he was starting day one, that would more likely than not win Rookie of the Year, would be Trey Lance, just because he has the most help around him. He probably has the best coach amongst the top 5 quarterbacks, I don't want to assume it will be a quarterback, but more likely than not, the quarterback will win. And of course, I'll get into Kyle Pitts and Jamar Chase later on. But looking at the quarterbacks, and given the situation, I think Trey Lance is in the best spot. He has a top 2 tight end in the NFL to throw to in George Kittle. He has a pretty good backfield to hand off to. He's got Raheem Mostert. They drafted Trey Sermon. They have Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, and they have Kyle Shanahan, the mastermind behind the offense, and he has a defense to rely on as well. Trevor Lawrence, he might have the most God-given talent amongst these guys, and he might have the best hopes and the most expectations, but with a head coach in Urban Meyer, who we think will be good, but we don't know. He's never coached an NFL game. Trevor Lawrence might take a year or two to finally develop, and he might not be an instant success because of the team around him. It's just not the greatest. There is some talent, but still, it's not near as good as Trey Lance. But again, Trey Lance probably isn't going to be starting, so that's going to steal a show from him. If Jimmy G is going to be the starter the entire season, we'll never know if Trey Lance would have won Rookie of the Year because he didn't play as a rookie. Justin Fields is another one. He's going into a decent system. I like Matt Nagy. I like Allen Robinson, but if he sits behind Andy Dalton, that's obviously going to take away from Justin Fields because he didn't play his rookie year. Zach Wilson, he's probably going to be starting day one. That's a good sign for him if he wants to be in the Offensive Rookie of the Year running. He's got some players to throw to, Corey Davis and Jamison Crowder, and now he has a decent backfield, hopefully, and Michael Carter, who could also be in possible Rookie of the Year. Really, any rookie that's on offense could be in contention just because it's so speculative. It's so early. Like I said, none of us know. But Zach Wilson, he's, of course, a guy that will probably start day one and will definitely be in contention. Mac Jones, another one. Kind of like Trey Lance, where he's in a great system with Bill Belichick. He's got decent offensive weapons. I wouldn't, rave about Nelson Aguilar and Kendrick Bourne as receivers, but tight ends Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith, that gives him something to work with. And of course, having Bill Belichick, he's going to get the most out of his offense and the most out of his quarterbacks, and Mac Jones could benefit from that and possibly win Offensive Rookie of the Year from that because of how well Bill Belichick makes him play, and also he has the defense to rely on. So amongst the quarterbacks, Trey Lance, if all these guys were starting, Trey Lance would be my pick. But assuming Jimmy G is going to be starting and stealing a show from Trey Lance at least half the year at minimum, and as long as Jimmy G doesn't go down, that would be my pick if he's starting day one. But assuming the starters are going to be probably Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, they'll be starting. Trey Lance and Justin Fields, they'll be sitting back a few games or a whole year. And Mac Jones, he's debatable. I'm not sure he's going to win the starting spot. Mac Jones or Cam Newton. I'm probably going to go with Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, that's the favorite. I understand that, but it's my prediction. It's my opinion. I do think Trevor Lawrence, just given the guys that will start, I think he'll have better success than Zach Wilson or Mac Jones. Looking at the receivers, Kyle Pitts and an offense with Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley and Matt Ryan, Kyle Pitts could really shine and maybe help this Falcons team turn into a playoff team. I think they have a lot of issues on defense, and they do have a new head coach as well to work with, and Matt Ryan's on the back half of his career. But if Kyle Pitts can revamp his career, that means he's doing enough to make this team shine, and that might put him in a spot to put up enough numbers to win Rookie of the Year. Jamar Chase, if him and Joe Burrow set records like they did in college, he could go out there himself and become Rookie of the Year. Jalen Waddle with Tua Tagovailoa. I'm not sure if Tua will have the arm to give Jalen Waddle the numbers, the stats, the yards, the touchdowns to put Jalen Waddle in Offensive Rookie of the Year, but yards after catch, that's Jalen Waddle's job, and maybe he can make his own show shine, and he could pan out. Maybe it could be a running back, and Javonte Williams, Najee Harris, Trey Sermon, Travis Etienne. Any guy can really shine, of course. It's an entire talented draft class, and there's going to be guys that will be in contention that I'm not mentioning, like I said, just because there's always diamonds in the rough. Of course, Devontae Smith with Jalen Hurts, Kadarius Toney with the Giants. You could be surprised one because a lot of people think it wasn't a great pick by the Giants. I like Kadarius Toney himself talent-wise. Just don't know if the Giants was the best fit for him because they already had receivers, but he's a guy who has just as much upside as any other receiver. There's Rashad Bateman, Rondell Moore. There's plenty of receivers out there, plenty of quarterbacks out there, plenty of running backs out there. It's going to be interesting. A couple underdogs I would keep my eye on is possibly a Terrace Marshall out of LSU. I know he's kind of, I don't want to say the little brother to Jamar Chase, but he's a second receiver out of that school compared to Jamar Chase. But with the Sam Darnold, who's got a big arm, and a Panthers team that's finally developing, and the focus might be on DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson, we could see a rookie, emerge and develop. I like Jamar Chase as well. With Joe Burrow, he's in a crowded wide receiver room between Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, Auden Tate. We could see Jamar Chase shine with Joe Burrow. And I think if a Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase can lead this team to a playoff berth, then that's going to take a lot of credit, and that's going to take a lot of skill, a lot of talent. That's probably going to be due, not all the credit will be due to Jamar Chase, but he'll definitely have a big part and impact on that. Of course, there's a couple other underdogs. Maybe Kellen Mond comes in for the Vikings. Anything can happen, really, but to me, I hate to go with the basic, with the guaranteed, with the best odds pick, Trevor Lawrence, but that's just what it screams to me. A lot of people, a lot of scouts like Bucky Brooks have even predicted Trevor Lawrence is what Justin Herbert was his rookie year, possibly even better. I'm not sure I'm on board with that because Justin Herbert, he broke every single quarterback record there was as a rookie for the most part. I'm not sure Trevor Lawrence is going to go in and shatter records. He may, just because now there's a 17th game, he might have that extra game to break the records, but still, to compare him to Justin Herbert, who broke all the records, it's not easy for guys to break records or else it would happen a lot more. But Trevor Lawrence, if there was one guy to match Justin Herbert and break his records, I do think it would be Trevor Lawrence out of this draft class. Again, Trey Lance would be my pick if he was the day one starter, but assuming, so I guess I'm not going with the basic pick there if all these guys are starting, but assuming Jimmy G's taking the starting role for at least half the season or the whole season, and Trey Lance won't be playing his rookie year, I can't go with him just because I don't think he's going to get the starting job. I don't think he'll get the reps. I don't think he'll get the plays. He'll get some snaps here and there, but again, won't be enough to make a rookie of the year case for me. I'm going to go with Trevor Lawrence if I had to pick a quarterback. Wide receiver, I think I would probably go with Jamar Chase just because I saw the connection and duo there was between Burrow and Chase in college. I mean, Burrow set the passing touchdown over 60 touchdowns. Jamar Chase had 33% of that. He had 20 of those touchdowns. That's pretty insane stats. So I think that would probably be my offensive receiver pick if I had to pick a receiver to win Rookie of the Year. And running back, I would honestly probably go with maybe a Najee Harris because this Steelers team is really dropping off with Big Ben aging, and they're going to need a running back to carry them like Derrick Henry. And I'm not saying, Najee Harris is going to step in and do that, but if he was able to, and if he does, then he's definitely going to have a Rookie of the Year case if he could revamp the Steelers team and take them to a playoff berth. It's all just going to depend. Right now, we're just speculating. Right now, I'm just predicting, but we won't know anything until these teams actually take snaps, until they play NFL games, until these rookies we actually see them in person play a football game. But again, my basic pick is going to unfortunately fall to Trevor Lawrence. But if Trey Lance is starting day one, he's my pick, and Justin Fields, he could be a underdog or a sleeper as well if he sneaks in sometime into the season. But as always, guys, I want to hear your opinion. Who do you think is going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year in 2021? And of course, who do you think will be the biggest bust amongst quarterbacks? My pick would probably be unfortunately for the Jets, Zach Wilson. Trevor Lawrence is just, he's a generational talent. He's compared to Andrew Luck. Justin Fields, I feel like he's in a decent system. Trey Lance, I feel like he's in a good system. Mac Jones, he's in a good system. Trevor Lawrence having his own talent to create a system. Zach Wilson, he's going to have to carry a huge Jets team that is just has a lot of variables to him. I think the Jets had a good draft, but still, it's just my opinion. I do think Zach Wilson has the biggest bust potential out of all five. But as always, guys, I want to hear your thoughts and comments. So make sure you comment down below. And of course, thank you for watching. 2-minute warning.